In the Land of Lords, you will often find yourself coming up against a wall. No, I do not mean an obstacle. I mean a fog wall. Fog gates, fog walls, fog doors, call them what you will, are usually a passage that leads to a fateful encounter. Fog once blanketed the entire world during the Age of the Stone Dragons, but when the Lords smote them down, over time this fog dispersed. This was due to the power of the ancient dragons and how widespread they were. In more modern times, fog gates are created due to the presence of powerful or numerous souls in an area, a telltale sign of palpable danger. Morphologically similar to the warped residents of Ulasil are the Dark Dwellers. These creatures have an extreme aversion to fire, though not necessarily light, an important distinction to make. While it stands to reason that these creatures are adjusted exclusively to low light, it is in fact the flames themselves that frighten them so. Long ago, a group of pyromancers attempted to take the wharf, fleeing from the Flexile Sentry and its cohorts. We find one of their barely surviving flames aboard the ship, but more crucially, the Dark Dwellers drop pyromancer attire, remnants of those who lost their lives battling these wretched things. These creatures learned the hard way the very first lesson every pyromancer is taught. Always fear the flame. One could be forgiven for believing this is simply a game mechanic, a system to deter cheaters. However, souls can be crafted into weapons, spells, pyromancies, and miracles, some of which have nothing to do with the soul originally, until one considers. Sin, the great dragon of Shulva, was once pierced by the terrible lance of Sir Yorg, poison spewing from the wound and sealing the city's fate. However, we can create another spear using the dragon's soul, because the soul itself remembers that spear. This was likely the most important moment in the dragon's life in some regard, albeit the most painful and important moment. Sin was forced to live in pain, the spear embedded in its chest forevermore, and so the soul itself remembers this and can be used to craft an identical weapon. Souls retain a literal memory, an imprint if you will, and through that, in the right hands, souls can be used to create wondrous items. Aside from the four lords, many other beings discovered souls within the First Flame. Souls that were lesser, yes, but powerful all the same. One such being became the god of smithing, creating titanite and the divine weaponry used by the gods. Once the dragons fell, though, and peace was finally achieved, there was no need for the smithing god, and his titanite slabs were left to crumble to dust. Only, they didn't. From the slabs arose the faceless titanite demons, their slabs having absorbed stray humanity, and as it often does, this humanity went wild, becoming stone creatures of immense strength that prowl the dark depths of Lordran to this day. On the opposite end of this spectrum are the blacksmiths who inherited their creator's techniques and love of weaponry. They were carved from the stone arch trees and imbued with souls, which of course is why, when they pass on, they return to the stone whence they came.